Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Let's Speak in English. Today we're going to discuss about in detail what are propositions. Let's we have look the definition first. Propositions are words that link nouns, pronouns or phrases to other words in a sentence. They are essential for expressing relationship of direction, place, time, manners, cause, and more. Propositions are usually placed before a noun or pronoun to show the relationship between that word and another word in a sentence. This is very simple definition. Propositions are words that link noun, pronoun, or phrase to the word in a sentence. That essential for expressing relationship of direction, place, time, manners, cause, and more. Propositions are usually placed before a noun or pronoun to show the relationship between words and another words in a sentence. This is very simple definition. Hopefully you got it. Let's we further describe about proposition by example. The first one we have here, the book is on the table. On is describe the location of the book. Where is book at? The book is on the table. So this describe the location of the book on the table. So this is first example. Second one, she went to the store. So where she going? She going to the store, and to describe where she is. She in the store, and this sentence describe she went to the store. This also describe where she is going. Next example we have here, the cat is under the chair. So cat is under the chair. This describe the location of the cat. Where is cat? So this describe the location of the cat that under the chair. Hopefully you understand by these three examples. Let's we describe further in detail characteristic of proposition. The first one here is positioning. Propositions are typically placed before a noun or pronoun. For example here, the bird is in the cage. In this sentence, proposition in describe the positioning of the bird. Where is bird at? So this sentence describe the bird is in the cage, and this describe the positioning of the bird. Where is bird? So first characteristic of proposition is positioning. And next one we have here is connection. They link noun, pronouns or phrases to other words. For example here, she walked to the park. So where she walked to the park, and this connect the two words together with the preposition to. So it's connect the two words together and thus link noun, pronoun or phrases to the other word. This is the second characteristic of preposition. Next one we have here is context. Context, they often indicate relationship such as time, place, direction or cause. So third characteristic of preposition is describing about time, place, direction or cause. So we can understand preposition very easily by remember these three characteristics of preposition. First one, it describes about the position or location. Second, it describes as a connection and it's connecting two words together. And third one, it describes about context like time, place, direction or cause. Hopefully you understand these three characteristics of a preposition. Let's we further describe about types of preposition. How many types of preposition we describe one by one in detail. So first of all, we have here preposition of place. This one describe about the place. For example here, in, on, under, behind, between, next to. These are the example. For example, in sentence here, the cat is on the couch. So cat on the couch describing the location or place of the cat. Hopefully you first one you got it, the preposition of place. Next one we have preposition of time. This describe about the time. What time? For example here, at, on, in, during, before, after. So these describe about the time. For example in sentence here, the party start at 7 p.m. So this describe about the time. Second one, hopefully you got it this one as well. Let's we describe next one, preposition of direction. So this describe about the direction. For example here, the word describing about direction are these preposition: to, from, into, out of, towards, through. So these are the preposition of direction. For example in sentence here, she moved toward the door. So where she moving? She moving towards the door. So in this sentence, preposition toward describe the direction. So this is the example of preposition of direction. Next one we have here preposition of agency or instrument, and preposition word here by, with. For example in sentence, the painting was created by an artist. Next one we have here preposition of cause or purpose. For example, we have word here preposition of cause or purpose: because of, due to, for. For example in sentence here we have the delay was because of the storm. So here because of describe about the cause or purpose, because they delay because of storm. This describe about the cause or purpose. This is the preposition of cause or purpose. Hopefully got it as well. Next one, let's we describe about rules for using preposition. The first rule here, this one, avoid ending sentence with preposition in formal writing. Let's we explain with an example. This example, where is it at? So at end with the preposition, this is the incorrect. We have to remove at to make it correct. For example, where is it? This is the correct sentence, and this describe about the location. This question asking the location, where is it? And this is the correct sentence here. The first rule, avoid ending sentence with preposition. Next rule here to using preposition is this one. Do not use unnecessary preposition. For example here, we explain with sentence, she entered into the room. If we keep this sentence simple here, she entered the room, This describe about her entered into the room, and we did not need here into to describe further. The simple sentence describe the exact meaning where she gone. So we don't need extra into preposition here. So the second rule of preposition here, do not use unnecessary preposition. Hopefully you got it, this one as well. Next rule for using preposition is this one, be mindful of idiomatic expressions. For example here, depend on, this is the correct. On is when we add with the depend, this is the correct here, versus depend of. If we add depend of, this is the different. So the correct here is depend on. It depend on what we doing, it depend on what we having, it depend on where we going, it depend on what we studying. So these are the idiomatic expression. If we add of here instead of on, that time the meaning will be totally different from this one. Therefore, we have to be mindful of idiomatic expression. This is the third rule of using preposition. Hopefully you got it as well. Let's describe common mistakes with preposition. While we using sentence, we do lots of mistakes. We take them one by one. First of all, we take incorrect use of preposition. The example here, he is good in math or mathematics. Short form is math here. This means mathematics. He is good in mathematics. So this is incorrect when we using in here. So correct version here, he is good at mathematics. So this is the correct one. Second mistake while we using preposition is double preposition. For example here, incorrect sentence of the table. This is incorrect. So correct here, of the table. So of the table is double preposition, and this is incorrect sentence here. So correct here is just single one preposition here of the table. It means not on the table. This describe here, and this describe the correct form of sentence here. So second mistake we mostly doing, we use double preposition in a sentence. We have to avoid double preposition. Third mistake we commonly doing, missing preposition. We not use preposition where we have need to be put in a sentence. The sentence here, she is interested learning language. Here in this sentence, preposition is missing, and correct here is she is interested in learning language. So in here describe about what is interested in. So she is interested in learning language. In first sentence in is missing, this is missing preposition example. Hopefully you got it, this one as well. Let's describe how to be perfect to use these preposition during our sentence, during our conversation, or while we writing anything, how we will be mastering of using preposition. Let's describe some tips to understand them easily so we can use them in sentence where we need it. The first tips here to mastering preposition is memorize common combination. So we have to memorize these combination of preposition. This is our vocabulary as well. we have to memorize them. This is the easy way to understand the preposition. So example here we have afraid of, good at, interested in. We have to memorize these prepositions with the combination of word. If we separate afraid and separate of, that time is different meaning. When we memorize them together, afraid of, that time is different. Good at is different meaning. When we take separate, good and at is separate, that time different meaning. And when interested in, we using together is have different meaning. And when we use interested separate and in separate, they have different meaning as well. So we have to memorize their common combination together, what their combination to exact meaning. So this is the first tips to remember them all preposition to use correctly in a sentence. So we have to memorize these preposition. This is the first tips. I think you got it, this one. Let's we proceed on the next one. Next one here, practice idioms with preposition. For example, in charge of, on behalf of, we have to practice these idioms with preposition together, and that time we can understand these preposition how to use correct way in a sentence. So we have to practice them, these idioms with preposition. This is the second tips. Hopefully you got it, this one as well. So let's we explain third one. Third one here, understand context to choose correct preposition. So to choose correct preposition, we have to understand the context. So example here, arrive at is a different meaning and arrive in is different meaning. So we have to understand the context to choose the correct preposition. For example here, arrive at describe about the location, while arrive in describe about a special place like city or country, like arrive in New York or arrive in USA. So this describe about different meaning. So arrive in different meaning and arrive at have different meaning. So we have to understand context to choose correct prepositions. Hopefully got these tips as well. Let's we further describe about real life usage and example. First one, we use preposition to describe about the location. So we describe location. The example here, the key are under the doormat. So this describe about the location of the key. This key is under the doormat. So we use preposition to describe location. That's the first one. Second one, we use preposition to describe about the time. So example here, we will meet on Sunday. So this describe about the time, and time is on Sunday. So we meet on Sunday. This describe about the exact timing. Next example we have here, the preposition describe about the direction. So this describe about direction. She walked through the garden. So she walked through the garden. This describe about the direction where she going to walk. She walking through the garden, and this describe about the direction. The fourth one describe about the agency or artist. For example, here the song was performed by the choir. So this describe the artist or agency. So who performed this one? This performed by choir. Choir is a group of artists when they sing a song together. This is the choir. The song was performed by the choir. And next one, for purpose. For example, he apologized for being late. So he apologized for being late. So this describe the purpose. Purpose is being late. So this one describe about the purpose in the sentence. Hopefully you understand all these 5 where we use preposition in our real life usage. The example here, we use the preposition for location, we use for time, we use for direction, we use for agency, and we use for purpose. And finally, prepositions are essential to fluent and accurate English. By mastering their usage, you can construct meaningful and grammatically correct sentences that clearly convey relationship and action. Hopefully you got all about the preposition. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Give us a like and subscribe the channel as well.